The Brewhouse was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewhouse.com. Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us here at the Genesee Brewhouse. This is the Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko, and we are happy to be joined by our good friend and Amerks Hockey Hall of Famer, Kevin Oklobzija. Welcome back.
I'm well.
Mike Catalana co-hosting with Ann Waring, speaking of the Amerks Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Marty Marrone. It's he's the last player in NHL history to wear the 00 jersey, and this is like one of my favorite jerseys of all time. Yeah, that's true. And he is, like you said, getting into the Amerks Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, they let anybody in that Hall of Fame nowadays, so I don't know how special it is.
You got enough money.
Pat Duffy. They banned the number?
Banned the number. Can't wear 00.
Why?
I don't know. One of my favorite stories, I told Mara the other day, too, when I was talking to him. Him explaining how he ended up with 43 was one of my favorite stories I ever wrote. Like, he was going through all the numbers he wanted to try. He said he put 1 on it. That's the number they were going to give him. And he said, look at me. I mean, I turned sideways. I'm skinnier than the goalpost. So I can't have a 1 on my back. I look even skinnier. Then he was 39. Well, that wasn't going to work. That was dumb. Then his brother wore 34, but that was taken in Buffalo. So he said, well, how about, let's turn it around and go 43. But he had like 3 other numbers in there, too.
How long did it take him to tell you that story?
An hour and a half.
Yeah. My favorite Marty story is I'm in the locker room at Sabres, and he's talking to this reporter. And he's going and going and going in French. And somebody next to me goes, look at Marty going and going. He goes, and guess what? I said, what? He goes, that reporter doesn't even speak French. Marty was just going and going. So he likes to talk. And I'm very happy for him and that he's getting in the Hall of Fame.
That's beautiful. Hey, look, with the time we got left, we'll talk a little bit of refereeing. We got, I get the feeling that
Whoever believed the NHL would not be the league that's being criticized the most over
officiating. And that's true, the last of the 4. But I feel like NFL playoff teams are just waiting to get screwed by these guys. And the NBA is close to a revolution in terms of the players against the refs.
But I don't think the NFL it's the referees on the field. It's the replay because nobody knows. And they've made the catch so convoluted, and it's impossible to tell. When the referee, former referee in charge, Pereira, and other people are going, oh yeah, this is a catch, and then they come back and say it's not, how would anyone know?
That's why I always say it's not replay. People are blaming replay. It's the use of the rule with what we see in the replay. But it's funny that you say that about the refs. I used to always think in the NBA, what I liked about the NBA refs was, you want to argue with me? I turn my back, I stand like this, go ahead and yell, I'm done. Whereas in baseball, it always felt like the umpires wanted the conflict, and they would get right back in the player's face. Now in the NBA, some of these refs are going after the players, and then you got the superstar who never thinks he does anything wrong. And I think it's a bad look for the entire league. I like when the ref makes his call, turns, go ahead. You want to yell at me, and if it gets disrespectful, then it's a technical or then it's a penalty. I think there's too much of going back and forth at each other right now.
And I think I realized that it was like that it got this serious too, and going back to football, is that the college game seems so well officiated when compared to the NFL.
Well, I think ego has something to do with that. I think that in the college game, these kids aren't going to argue like NFL players are going to argue, and they're not going to criticize the refs. But like, remember Marv Levy back in the day with his eloquent English, he used to call all the refs over-officious jerks. Yep. The NFL has become a league of over-officious jerks. And you guys talk about the replay. I think the replay might be a problem, not because of the replay, but these refs understand that they have the backing of replay.
And they know it doesn't matter what their call is, it's going to be replayed, so we get it wrong, oh well.
But I think they are more likely, and I would love to see the numbers, to let a play go, let a catch stand, let a penalty not be called when they know they can go back and look at it and reverse it if they have to.
Only smart.
How about the play in the Kansas City game? The guy's on the ground, hits the ground, the ball pops loose, Derek Johnson's running for a touchdown for the Chiefs. And I was actually listening to it on the radio, and they weren't sure, and they're calling. Well, when I saw the replay of the play, he was down on the ground for like a second and a half, and the ball came out. But to your point, they let it go because they're like, it's going to get reviewed anyhow.
The defining play, I thought, was the Benjamin catch, no catch in the Bills game, because they had the mic on the referee, near enough the referee, that when they reversed it, and Tyrod, I guess it was, and asked him, why did they turn that over? And he says, I don't know.
And I don't have a problem with him saying that because he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Be honest with the player. The players respect the guy for that because it's not his call. He didn't review it. He didn't overturn it. I give the NHL credit because they have really overhauled referees. They've moved guys out. They want some other guys moved out too. They've hired 3 or 4 in their development system guys who played hockey last year and now they're referees in the American Hockey League in a year.
All right, well, we're going to post-mortem the Buffalo Bills next. This is the Rochester Press Box from the mighty Genesee Brewhouse, and we'll be back. The Press Box, brought to you in part by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 262-COMP, today. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. We are from the mighty Genesee Brewhouse here, and this portion brought to you by Connors and Ferris. It's time to talk about Buffalo Bills, but first, congratulations on winning our Pick the Pros contest this year,
I would
Mike.
like to thank the not-so-little people who helped me win.
Can I get a review? Because I was up like 5 games at one point. Then all of a sudden, when I stopped paying attention, Mike Catalana wins the contest.
Yeah.
From Georgia?
Yeah, there's refs think we got a little big lead.
Well, you know, I got to take it.
Mike, let's post-mortem the Buffalo Bills. Did you come away now? The season is over. What's your overwhelming thought about the season?
Overwhelming thought is, and I said it from the beginning, that they had a plan that they knew this roster was not good enough. It has just begun to be overhauled. They recognize the offense is an unacceptable offense in the NFL. It's not all Tyrod's fault. It's not all Rick Dennison's fault. It's a combination. There's going to be major overhaul and major changes. The benefit was that the drought of making the playoffs ended, so that anvil is off of them. It's a 23-year drought of winning a playoff game.
Don't be that.
So that is the next step.
Come
But
on.
that is the next step. But I like that McDermott was saying that. He's like, hey, yeah, we got a lot to fix. Let's get a home game. It's almost like we've forgotten the opportunity to get a home game in the playoffs because New England wins every year. So the goal now is to get better, go after New England as a division champ in the future. But I do think they've recognized from the beginning it is a flawed roster that needs changes. And I heard somebody say it during the game. I was reading online. Somebody's like, wow, now I see why they actually did bench Tyrod Taylor during the season. Now, Nate Peterman was a disaster in that game, but I think nationally people who hadn't watched the Bills watched Tyrod and said, they need better than that at quarterback.
The two guys.
He needs somebody to throw to.
He does, but I mean, he's...
I know he is. When he had that 4th down and that whole series at the goal line, Jacksonville wasn't worried. He has nothing to be scared of. But when that's what he has the options of throwing to
but let me tell
and
you
getting
something.
open.
He missed Nick O'Leary terribly. He missed Kelvin Benjamin terribly.
Yes.
He is not an accurate thrower. He's not good in the red
And that's
zone.
why he doesn't scare anyone.
He doesn't scare anybody.
Pat.
I don't know. I will say this. Like, everyone's talking about what a stepping stone it is. I don't know how much of a stepping stone this last season was because what do they have? 36 free agents, restricted or unrestricted, that they have to be signed.
Okay.
You're going to have a new quarterback. We're going to find out what kind of GM and coach McDermott and Bean are, how heartless they are, because Rick Dennison, listen, the offensive coordinator has to go. There's no way you can bring him back, not to mention he was, their 4th choice last year?
Yeah.
Now 2 of their top 3 have become available based on firings. I really hope that this season is something to look back and go, this is where it started, and not a blip of excitement on the next 7 years of the same thing.
I almost look at it as parallel here. The fact that they won 9 games is somewhat stunning with such a poor offense, and the fact that they made the playoffs is stunning. But that's like the benefit. It's like the side benefit. Oh, yeah, they did that. So it takes that out of the mix. They're not a good roster. They have a lot to do. I will say this. They're old and young. And they've made a couple. Look, if you could fix positions like you fixed the safety position, go ahead and do that with the wide receiver position next year.
But Mike, you know this. Like, you can be good. You're not going to be good the whole time. You can be lucky. You're not going to be lucky every time. You're not going to be able to fix the safety and the corner positions this year and do it at quarterback and do it at offensive line and do it at defensive line.
From 21 or 22 in the draft,
Yeah,
wherever they.
it's 21-22 in the draft. You can get very good players. They've got 2 picks there. But if you're going to go get the quarterback, that's the thing, right? Everybody knows it. That's the thing. They have to get better play out of the quarterback position. I do think with these guys, they're open to everything. Open to everything. Spending money, making a trade, drafting a guy, whatever it happens to be. But I think they've recognized from the beginning, they know they're not good enough. That's why McDermott, give him credit for this, never focused solely on making the playoffs. That's why I said it's sort of a benefit that they did, but they know how this roster needs a lot of work.
Which is more significant, do you think? The fact that management turned this team into a playoff team, or that the roster isn't playoff worthy?
Well, I think right now it's that the roster's not playoff worthy is more significant, because you look at it and go, great. Because when I look at the team next year, if I'm predicting next season with this current roster, I'd probably say they're going to win 7 games again.
Whoa, but you got Tennessee, you got Jacksonville at home. I mean, you're playing the AFC South.
Don't ever go by. That's the danger of going by the schedule, is you don't know what you are getting. Again, if you were playing the New Orleans Saints the year before, you'd be like, New Orleans is down and on the road. They may very well be a Super Bowl team. You don't know year to year
Did
who
you
you're
see me
playing.
do the hand thing? I just missed you. It was done.
You mean the guy who won the contest?
But one game.
So do you want one of the quarterbacks, the veteran guys that's available?
I would say Alex Smith would be a huge upgrade for them, quarterback-wise. And they may catch this at the right time, because Kansas City, because of Andy Reid, not because of Alex Smith, needs to jumpstart. They need to make the change at quarterback. They're going to be looking to move. And a guy like Alex Smith, I think, would look and say, I can start right away and I can go there. And I think he would help them immensely.
He won't be well received, though.
I think Alex Smith would be very well received right now from the Bills.
You think?
The guy threw for almost 300 yards in the first half of that playoff game, and then it was the play calling that took him down. I think that would be a major step up for them.
This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by, and we are at the Genesee Brewhouse. This portion, brought to you by Condos and Ferris, Like It or Not, is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Here's the Press Box trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box from the Genesee Brewhouse. Like it or not, Kevin, Doug Marrone.
Give him Coach of the Year consideration. Don't give him the award. But my gosh, if he could get that team to the playoffs, I don't care how good his defense was. Defense was great. I get it. They still got to the playoffs with that guy as their quarterback.
Oh my God! Did you not watch the Bills game?
Oh,
on Sunday?
you just don't like his arrogance.
The offense did nothing. The offense did absolutely nothing. Let's look back.
They're in the playoffs because of that guy.
So are the Bills. Should Sean McDermott have Coach of the Year consideration? By the way,
17-year drought broken? Sure, give him a vote.
But I'm saying, if you want to talk about coaching jobs, done,
Sixth.
McDermott did a better coaching job than.
Yeah, McDermott would be ahead of
Thank
me
you.
on the coaching level, ahead of
Tyrod
Doug
Taylor's a
Marrone.
better quarterback than the guy that the Jacksonville, than Bortles, please.
Okay.
You may feel that he's better, but in effectiveness, there were times this year where, as bad as Blake Bortles is, where he threw for 300 plus and threw for touchdowns. The Bills never got that out of their passing game. And Sean McDermott plays up against the Patriots every year. And I know they have they beat the Steelers this year, and that was a good win. But I would say they're both in that category of guys who won with defense. The difference is Sean McDermott's a defensive coach. Doug Marrone's supposed to be an offensive coach, and that offense stinks.
And he found a way to win with that guy as his
I
quarterback.
hate you more than right now. All right, let's look at
Doug Marrone.
Yes, I hate you more than Doug Marrone, which is pretty impressive. Let's go with what Mike said. Wow, let's look at Doug Marrone's professional coaching career. Comes to Buffalo. Wow, this team looks great. You know why? Jim Schwartz's defense, according to this offensive guru, right? He switches quarterbacks midway through the season, gets his guy, can't make the playoffs. Then he goes down to Jacksonville. By the way, everybody on the inside knows that
Everybody knows he is.
Tom Coughlin.
Inside, outside, into the...
He wasn't
And he's still this polarizing. It's pretty amazing.
Let's
move on.
Real quick, he wasn't a powerful enough personality to outduel Doug Whaley. Checkmate.
Like it or not, the drama surrounding the New England Patriots, is this the end of the innocence?
Oh, do I like it? I love it. I love it. By the way, I love these New England fans that are getting angry at ESPN. People calling this a, quote, hit piece. Is it that...
You always go after the messenger.
You're joking. Oh, yeah, okay, I thought you were going to say... Is it that hard to believe that a couple of guys that work together and were super successful for all this time have a hard time sharing the credit for it, and that you get on each other's nerves, and then Belichick has an ego, and Brady has an ego, and Robert Kraft has an ego. All good things come to an end. This is going to come to an end, and it's not going to be in a good way. Deal with it. They're human beings. Of course this story is true. And the fact that they put out a
In a good way with another Super Bowl win.
Okay, fine, but they're still having these problems, and that triple statement they made together, that totally makes me believe that this story's not
By
true.
the way, it can end that way because we all saw it happen with Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson after they beat the Bills in the Super Bowl, and then they were gone.
The thing, if you are a Patriots rooter or apologist, is that you had it in Jimmy Garoppolo, and you let it get away.
Yeah, well, it's good. That is really the most interesting part, and I think his initial look is fantastic. So if you're a Bills fan, you're saying, thank you, Bill Belichick. He finally gave a going-away present to the Bills fans, which was ship that guy to the NFC and out west.
Yep, and I go all the way back to the beginning where we were talking about the new management of the Buffalo Bills, and I thought they positioned themselves as being the team to deal with when New England inevitably falls back.
One great line from that article, an insider with the Patriots said, "We don't have a plan at quarterback going forward. We're like Cleveland." There
Nice.
you go. Live with that.
This is the Rochester Press Box from the Genesee Brewhouse. Unfinished Business is next.
With Dunkin' Deals, get a $2 medium latte from 2 to 6 p.m. Looks like it's latte o'clock. Time for a rich, creamy afternoon pick-me-up with a $2 medium latte from 2 to 6 p.m. America runs on Dunkin'.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box from the Genesee Brewhouse. This portion of Unfinished Business is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pat.
So the end of the season with the Buffalo Bills, we look forward to next season, and not only will we be cheering for the Buffalo Bills, but we'll be cheering against the guys that left Buffalo. You just saw the Doug Marrone conversation. You know how heated it can be. But Tyrod Taylor probably won't be in a Bills uniform next year. Tyrod Taylor is one of the few guys I will be cheering for if he ends up somewhere else, because, listen, we could debate all day how good he is, what weapons he's had. I want to see the guy succeed, and it's based on that game that happened on Sunday. Maybe he doesn't have the talent to do it. Maybe he doesn't have the skills to be a legitimate NFL quarterback. But Tyrod Taylor took a beating on Sunday. Every time they watched him after the play, he was getting up after he took a shot in the chest or a shot in the head. There was one play where he took a knee, and one of the Jaguars defenders literally headbutted him on purpose, and he didn't leave the field until he was unconscious. Does he have the skill? Maybe not. The ability to lead men? I don't know. But the guy's gutsy, and he deserves another shot just based on that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Nice job. Kevin.
So this week, Brendan Gooley, rookie defenseman for the Rochester Americans, went to the Buffalo Sabres, and he should have, because this is how it works under Jason Botterill. Guys who prove they deserve a chance to go up, go up. Should he stay there? No, because he's not in a good situation. The best leaders in the organization are probably right in Rochester right now, not in Buffalo. Not a good situation. You want a rookie, one of your guys you're going to build around in the future, to be exposed to for more than 10, 15 games. Let him play, see where he's at, come back here, make a playoff run.
You know, that's always such a...
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
But
how much is to be gained on these, when we see it all the time, when Rochester back and forth from Buffalo? What gets gained by doing
well, he can see where he is now against NHL teams, against some really good teams like Winnipeg. He can judge what he needs to do, when he can go. Down here, he can go at any time. He doesn't. He should do. I mean, he should take the puck and go a lot more. But up there, it's a different ball game. Gives him a chance to just assess where he's at personally.
And it's that bad in Buffalo?
I think it's a bad situation. They just aren't the right personalities and the right leaders.
I got an opportunity to spend 5 days, or also felt like a month, in Jacksonville, Florida, covering the Bills. And it was a lot of fun. In the plane going down, in the hotel, at restaurants and everything, seeing Bills fans. I was excited for the fans. For people who, some of the 20-somethings or 30-year-olds who just never have experienced it before, people bring in their sons or daughters or older fans who remember the old days and being there. And they had a ball. We went to restaurants, we went to places, did stories, and it was a lot of fun. But you know where I'm going with this, because there's the whole other element of Bills fans. And the reason I want to say this to you is the next morning I'm watching TV in Jacksonville, and what they're showing is segments, parts of what Bills fans did down there, setting things on fire, jumping on the tables. And by the way, Bill Cowher, seriously, you made kind of a fool of yourself on CBS. Hated every second of watching that. What I want to say to you is, as a guy who grew up being an apologist for Philly fans, knowing it's a small segment of fans who actually do the idiocy, stop it. You had your few moments of it. Be great fans. Be supportive fans. Have fun. Drink. Do all those things. But when I'm sitting there listening to the impression the general sports fan in Jacksonville gets of Bills fans, unfortunately, it wasn't positive. It's the way the place was left. It's a small percentage. And as someone expressed it really well, they said for the fans who do act like that, they love every second of the attention. And for the fans who are just great fans who enjoy themselves, there's nothing they can do about it. Not a good look. It's old. It's tired. Move on from that. Be the fan base I know you are.
But the donations to the Andy Dalton Foundation, I think that went a long way in saying what Bills fans are about.
It did. I think that's the
Thankfully,
positive
Jacksonville's
stuff.
a small enough pocket that not that many people
And
saw.
the traveling and being there, great support from Bills fans.
Maybe get more of
90%.
this moving on.
90%.
Real quick, do I need a hall pass to go to the bathroom? Because I want to know where my middle school principal showed up to do this show. Is it fun? Hate it. Hate fun. Hate it.
Yeah, go jump in a table.
I will.
This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. We're at the Genesee Brew House. Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Kevin, thanks very much for bringing Doug Marrone into the conversation.
Hey, I'm pushing for the guy.
Mike
Never
and
should have
Pat,
left.
Thanks again, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.